This is the Gaming Gestures Gaming Update Podcast here with episode 20. So, we only have a few things to talk about. We do have the state of play to go over, but only a few things after that. So, we're just going to dive right on in here. So, we got a little snippet of what's going on here. We got the first one of this is the Iron Man virtual reality. So, we got most of the state of play was all we know. Sony's really pushing VR, which I love because I like the VR headset. If
Yeah,
I had it, I would pop it out and show you. So I'm loving that they're going more VR route, and they have a
yeah,
lot
they
of good
definitely were
games.
pushing that VR a lot because the first few things on the state of play were definitely VR. What we're looking at now is what Iron Man we have,
Yeah, this is Iron Man
and this
here.
is now most of these games they are gonna. Some of them are VR only, or are they both either or? Because
Some
that's
of
what I
them,
was confused about.
some are either or. A lot of these are VR exclusive, though. I'm pretty sure this Iron Man's VR exclusive.
Thinking, yeah, because well, from the looks of this Iron Man, it's like you literally are,
Yeah,
you literally
yeah,
are Iron Man, and you're just blowing crap up. So
yeah. Which it looks
this, I'm
amazing.
thinking you're gonna need the VR. It's like not actual gameplay, but yeah, that happens once in a while.
Yeah, no release date on it yet, but we'll
No
see.
release date on Iron Man.
No wait,
Oh, they said
suit
coming
2019
2019.
though.
This is one that I was super pumped for. It was Crash Team Racing. I love the original back in the day, and oh my god, it
Speaking
looks
of,
so much.
there it was.
Yeah, and it looks so much better now being upgraded.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
speaking of VR, what is this? What was the one that I showed? They have this car. I don't know what.
Let's jumping through a bunch of them now. A little recap. We got No Man's
This one
Sky
looked good.
coming.
This one looked good. This was this the not the dungeon crawler, but the battle arena game. Was that this one?
Yeah, believe that was
I
this
can't
one.
remember the name of it though, but it looked surprisingly like for as cartoony and goofy as it looked. I don't mean that offensively. I just mean that's kind of the
It's kind of the
the look
big
there.
VR route. Kind of takes that kind of. They go that kind of route with their graphics. This
And
one looked interesting.
this painting one, yeah, I don't know where you have all these sketches and they're coming to life. That one looked incredible, but like I couldn't tell like if his sketches that he was making was what was attacking him or like what was.
And it looks like it was his. He's creating his own world, painting in it and
Yeah,
bringing everything to life. And
it looks like it's gonna be one of those like really I didn't catch the name of it, but one of those really artistic underrated.
yeah,
And Five Nights at Freddy's was one of the
this one's gonna be funny in VR. I'll give you that.
yeah, I know. I remember when I was watching it with someone, and they were just like, "Oh my god, this looks terrifying," and I'm just like, "It's just Five Nights at Freddy's. It's goofy."
I've actually never played any of them yet, but I might get into this just to play the VR one, just to see.
Yeah, no, I haven't played. I've only seen video play of them, and
Yeah,
they ah, but yeah, they're really pushing this. So this was what this
we're
was.
out of the VR now.
We're out of VR and we're into Days Gone.
Yeah,
Is
Days
that
Gone,
which
which
is
I
coming
wasn't
out?
too hyped about this one at first, but then more I see, the more hyped I get. The motorcycle simulator.
Yeah, I kind of felt with its initial E3 trailer was not very good,
Well,
and
that's all, because all they showed you was every scene he was on. Oh, here we go. Mortal Kombat here.
that was their highlight at the end was Mortal Kombat having the exclusive, not exclusive, but returning characters.
Yeah, I do have a lot of news about Mortal Kombat. That's one thing. After this whole trailer, we'll dive more into information about each of the things. I do have some more information about Mortal Kombat.
Well, that's good. I know this one's very hyped up, and it's a return to form for Mortal Kombat, I guess, because a lot of people are on the fence about 10. I still haven't played it. I know you said you hadn't played it, but a
Yeah,
lot of
not yet.
people
I really
mixed
liked
reviews on
9, but
that. But I know some people were pissed off that they were using like "Insane in the Membrane" as like the trailer song and not actual Mortal Kombat music.
well,
But I
they
mean, that
moved
doesn't
away
take away
eventually.
from the experience, though. I mean,
Yeah, it just gives it a little more action-packed music kind of to go with it.
but now you're gonna be singing that in your head. I can't.
Yeah, every time I
Copyright. Can't
play.
say it, but
Yeah, I got to mute it so we don't even get the songs with them. But
but
man, this
yeah, that's what
trailer's
Mortal. Kombat.
this is a long one.
So, but what Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out on April. I had it right in front of me, and I just lost it. Was it the 11th or the 23rd?
I have the video playing, so I don't have my notes up. Couldn't tell you just at this moment, but I'm really hyped about it. I could have just talked about all about it, how long that trailer was. But all right, so we're wrapped
Right.
up here.
So what about Mortal Kombat? Okay, so we're talking. We ended on Mortal Kombat. That was obviously before we get to like a bit more on Mortal Kombat. I will say that the state of play was a little short, but I do like the format. It's a very much reminiscent of how Nintendo does their directs, and I was happy that Sony went that route rather than if you look at the Xbox. What is that? Xbox. Wow, Xbox has a similar. Xbox has one too, I'm sure. Now, Xbox has a similar thing where I don't know what they call theirs, but theirs is more in depth, very long, and it's interviews with developers and things like that. And I kind of really like this short format that both Nintendo and Sony are doing, and I hope that kind of becomes the norm because it's direct and to the point. So
Yeah, I mean and I guess instead of cutting out the long E3 showing, they just went and showed a little bit, maybe every quarter. Maybe they might do 4 showings. I'm not 100% sure when it was.
well, they did say there'll be more of them coming, and you know what? I think it's good too, especially for things like VR. Even though this was very heavily VR focused, which I know you were a huge fan of it being huge VR, and
Yeah.
some people who don't have VR, they're just like, well, this did nothing for me. So, but these state of plays, I can't get used to that name yet, but these state of plays, that's the perfect platform for that kind of thing. Because like I said, if you look at what Nintendo does with their directs, so usually the directs are always smaller type games. Usually they'll have one or two big announcements thrown in just to hype it up. But then it's always like the smaller games that kind of don't get the spotlight that they would get at E3. So I think it's important to have Sony doing this as well. But if you want to get into Mortal Kombat and talk about what you got with that,
Yeah.
I'll let you take that away.
Well,
Unless you
Mortal
had something to
Kombat.
add to your state of play.
Well, no, it's about wrapped it up. That was a quick summary of what all we got. We got Mortal Kombat. The release date I pulled up here now, is April 23rd is the date. PS4, Xbox One, and PC and Switch, all 4. So
Yeah.
what I got, I like they're actually going back. I've lost my notes here. I had them right here, but I like how they're going back into the timeline. They're taking the old route of all the past people coming and now fighting their future selves. They're going to be like, you got to see Johnny Cage punching himself there, beating himself up, and I really like that whole route thing that they're going to be. I guess they're running out of storyline, so that's what they're doing
And
now.
was Johnny Cage one of the comeback announcements they had during the state of play the other day? They had two characters were highlighted that nobody had seen up until that time. I think, unless I read that wrong.
Maybe.
But I might have read into it wrong, but because there's been so much video going on about it. But yeah, I am very curious to see how this goes. And if you're saying if it's kind of like a past meets the present kind of thing, that could be and I'm very interested to see where the DLC can go as well, because they hadn't really announced anything as far as I know for DLC yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything about it yet.
And what was it? Was it 9? Was it 9 that had like Freddy and Jason? Or
Yeah,
was that
well,
10?
9 had Freddy and 10 had Jason.
So that would
Yeah.
be interesting to see if they can get someone else now.
Yeah, see
Yeah,
which route.
Michael Myers shows up. And
That would be, I'd be hyped for that. I would jump all over that. They also had 9 had Predator, and I think 10 had Leatherface. I believe that's the ones that they had.
See, I like that crossover appeal. Like you would never think back in like 1994, you would never think Mortal Kombat would have like a cultural crossover where you have these fictional characters with other characters from other universes you never would imagine. Like
Yeah.
that was unheard of. Well, the concept of DLC was unheard of too, but still.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so what else? I know it's not going to be something I get day one, but I have a love-hate relationship with Mortal Kombat. I'm a button masher at heart, so for me to remember combos and things like that, it's
See, I remember the combos. I still pretty much most of the combos are usually the same. They switch them up, so there's a lot of combos, remember, but as long as you remember down back X or down back square or down back triangle, those are usually always a combo for someone, for everyone.
I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna be an ace at it. So you'll see me streaming it, and then I'll be like, "Why am I getting my butt handed to me every second?"
Yeah. Well, moving
Lord.
on, we got actually, we'll jump right into here. I'm not sure if you caught this. We had just yesterday, we had, pulling it up, get rid of this.
That was good
Borderlands 3 was just dropped, the trailer for it.
They just announced it?
Yeah, this is a game. It kind of dominated like every game. Yeah, it was just announced. They were hinting at it and teasing it for a while, and it was finally just announced just yesterday. They dropped the trailer, and you had to have seen, I'm not sure if you caught on to them, memes were everywhere on it. This was huge news. Like, every page I went to,
so every
Facebook,
gaming group,
Twitter,
I was wondering what was going on. I didn't catch like all of it, but because I wasn't like following the news exactly. But
yeah, but everyone was spammed with this. This is all you heard yesterday, and yeah,
the pieces fit together now, and it makes sense. And so, what did they say in the trailer? Did they have any specific, release date? Well, obviously, we're not a release date yet.
Probably too soon for that. But well, they showed off. It's basically a lot of the same with new people. They got new areas to go to, new classes, new characters, all going through the same usual missions type of thing. And
so was this announced like at PAX East, because that was going on this weekend?
Yes, that's where PAX East. They had a few things dropped at PAX East, and this was one of their trailers that they just.
I love how East is kind of starting to become like more of an important thing, because before it was like PAX West was that where everything was at, and now like.
Yeah,
we got the East versus West.
PAX East is what, Boston? I think it is.
Was it Boston? I know it's definitely not Florida.
I believe it was Boston area, which I'd be next year. I'm actually planning to go to PAX East.
I want to go to one of the hype things like that. Back in the day, I wanted to go to E3, but now that E3 is kind of becoming irrelevant.
Now it's PAX you want to go to. Check out that and TwitchCon. We got to make it to TwitchCon.
Oh, okay, we're gonna do that. Speaking of PAX East, they dropped Streets of Rage 4. Got another trailer, and I know for the first Streets of Rage game in 25 years. So it's got a really cool looking animation style to it. Like I can't think of how to describe the animation style, but it's very, very not what you would. It's kind of like very. I think the way I'm going to describe it is comic book comes to life kind of animation, if that makes sense. And it looks like it's a throwback to the classics in a lot of ways, but then I don't know. I mean, I kind of had to see where it goes, because in the trailer I saw like them suplexing the fat fire breathing guys, and they used to not be able to do that, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, you could give yourself a hernia when you tried.
Right. But yeah, that was one of them I saw, and that was different that I saw for surprise announcement. I mean, Borderlands, of course, is huge.
Guns with legs. That's the meme you see everywhere. It's just guns with legs.
Oh well. What else did we have? We had. Did you have any other shock announcements in there? Or?
Not big shock announcements, but I know you talked about Anthem got a big hit, but another game I was hyped about.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthem's getting, what is it? Their Metacritic score is like 60 or something like that as well. I've been reading that, and then a lot of people just tearing that to shreds, and that had so much hype around it. So I'm kind of surprised, especially because even the open beta people were so hyped on, and they were like saying so many good things about the open beta, and especially because the beta played well. Like there wasn't many problems with the beta, but then when the actual game came, it was like
well, the beta came, it did have some things. It was more so they dropped it with 100 fixes or more on day one launch, but that's all right, because Anthem's old news now anyway. We already saw they got all the reviews and everything about 2 weeks ago. They got hit hard. I was going to jump in another game I was hyped about, but now it's getting hit hard. We got Generation Zero.
Generation? I think I'm going to say Jump Force again, which is Jump Force has its first DLC coming.
That's another old one.
I didn't see I forgot the DLC that was coming, but Jump Force did announce its first DLC. So I should be more prepared to know this. It is this character, but
We'll have to
with how
check that
badly
out.
reviewed, how badly reviewed it was getting, I don't think people
Yeah.
they may not care. Unfortunately.
But
But
we
continue. I didn't mean to cut you off there
we
with
got
the.
Generation Zero here, which I was highly hyped for, but it's also getting pretty poor reviews. And the main one being co-op. All these games are pushing co-op, but none of them know how to do co-op. Like Generation Zero, for all its emphasis on co-op and actively discouraging co-op because the players who aren't hosting are not allowed to retain progress made in the sessions. So it's one of those cop-out things. Much like Far Cry 5, much like, what was it, Neo did that? I don't like when game devs do that with a co-op. Game devs just don't understand good co-op.
I don't understand why they would do that in that way either, because that to me is screaming like we don't give a shit.
It just completely destroys. You want to jump in. Like, this was a good 4-player game. You jump in with your friends. Like, right here in the trailers, you see with your friends all over. Now you're taking gameplay story progress away. That just ruins the entire purpose of the game now. I was going to get this right away because I was hyped, but now they just ruined it. I no longer want to get this because I don't want to have to redo the entire story 4 times to get all 4 characters in my party to get it. That's painful.
This was the one you were telling me about. Yeah, I remember this now. Because I had to think about, what is this? Now that you're telling me, like, okay, I remember it. But now, yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. They definitely, it doesn't look good either from from the public. What would you call that? Not the public relations, but the.
We're going to call it the ball dropping office. Someone dropped the ball.
Yes, in the ball dropping office with your public opinion, they definitely messed that up. So, oh my lord, did we skip over? I don't want to cut you off, but did we skip over No Man's Sky for VR?
I mentioned a little bit when we had State of View that they showed it, and I did mention a little bit really quick. They only showed a little bit. No Man's Sky, which I really like, and I'm still trying to get you to get it eventually, but it's getting a VR update coming out for it.
Yeah, that was like their big announcement. That was like one of their big announcements, and I don't know if we skip. I think we just skimmily skipped over it there. And I was like,
it was a small mention in the State of Play.
Because every time you talk about multiplayer that sucks and then it gets better over time, I think of No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. I mean, that's the ultimate redemption right there.
It's true though. Like it redeemed itself in a way that is unreal. Like that never happens. You never see that happen.
Yeah.
So the comeback hit of the year, I guess.
But we also got Dead by Daylight. Fans of that. Yeah. Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I'm getting back into it.
You're gonna Ash. Yeah. Once his character jumps in, it'll be a good time to jump back in. When Ash is coming to it, we already know they always throw Ash into the evil verse or the horror verse, or whichever you call it. Now that they got Michael Myers and Dead by Daylight might be getting Jason sometime, they always do. Like, they even had that crossover, the comic book, Michael Myers versus Jason, or no, wait, I think it was Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. They had that comic book where all 3 of them were together. And so this is a perfect fit for Ash to jump into this game.
Yeah, and I have been getting back into Dead by Daylight slowly. It was, for me, I still like Friday a lot better, but I'm slowly getting into Dead by Daylight again just because it's, eventually Friday's going to die out and I need something to fall back on. And
then Dead by Daylight can grab Jason.
Yeah, and then last year the Nightmare ain't taking off anytime soon, so it looks like my asymmetrical horror experience is going to have to be Dead by Daylight, so I got to start liking it.
Yep.
I do like it. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I'm just saying. But yeah, I haven't gotten any of the DLC characters yet, but I'm kind of waiting for a sale. I just got the game on sale on PC, so.
Oh, on PC. PlayStation 4 has been killing it with their sales lately. They've had all the Dead by Daylight characters on sale for like every day of this month now. They're always on sale. They've had huge sales after sale. They have a huge sale going on right now. After this sale ends, I think they're starting up another sale because they've been doing it back to back.
Yeah, okay, I'll definitely check that out because I haven't been checking. I've been, since I got the gaming PC, now I've been trying to play as much on PC as possible. So,
Yeah, which
which
is funny. You jump on the PC, and now PC hasn't been having any sales lately.
I know it's been terrible. Luckily, I found that isthereanydealsite.com or whatever the
Yeah,
link is, because I was able to pick up some good deals that way. I just got Payday for $4.99, and I got Friday the 13th for $5.99, and so it's got there's some good with some bad, but
yeah.
we got move. We
So
got
we got
anything else by Dead by Daylight? Because I can't think of anything else
no,
going
but
on.
I have
Ash
some
was the big.
Ubi.
So
I call them Ubisoft, but they like to be
Ubisoft.
pronounced Ubisoft.
I for the longest time was saying Ubisoft, and then people either made fun of me, or yeah, I'm looking over at you, and
Well, it can be. It doesn't matter because it's spelt the way. But anyway, with the Division 2 out and Far Cry New Dawn already released this year, combined with the fact that Assassin's Creed will be skipping 2019, they said there's a question of what Ubisoft might have in store for their showing this year at E3. And during a recent call, the publisher said that they plan to release 3 to 4 AAA games before the next physical year. The
So
rumors.
you mean you're probably gonna get Beyond Good and Evil 2. That I imagine
That's
is
on
coming
there.
out.
Yeah, they actually big rumors are going around that Watch Dogs set in
Watch
London
Dogs
for
3,
a number of
yes, that
months.
is going to be set in London. From what I've been hearing,
Yeah,
it's going to be set in London. Bigger attention to hacking and less on the physical combat, which we kind of briefly talked about last week or the
yeah.
week before. I don't remember, but yeah, Watch Dogs
And
3,
you
and I think
mentioned Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yep.
Yep,
And
and
Splinter Cell's probably another one that they're going to bring out.
yeah. So it's also good that they skip a year for Assassin's Creed because you know why that's good is because there was such a fatigue with that for so long because you had Black Flag was good, and then what was right after Black Flag?
I don't know. I skipped all of them. I played
Uh,
Unity.
and was it Unity maybe? I don't remember. Whatever was in between. But they took that time off because it was so getting done and everyone was over it. They took that time off, and then Odyssey came out and blew everyone out of the water.
Yeah,
So
Odyssey was. I got to get Odyssey, but everyone says I haven't talked to a single person who said Odyssey was bad.
yeah, so I mean, there right there, that's how you do it. You got to sometimes, if it works, if you need to skip to give that game extra time, give it extra time. People will wait for a good game. They would rather wait for
Yeah.
a good game than play a game that sucks.
Yeah, and one they're fatigued out of. I mean, I stopped playing Assassin's Creed just because, well, one, the collectibles, there's so many, and I was fatigued from the series.
You want to talk about not just collectibles but achievements? Payday 2. If you're looking at the Steam achievements, there's like 1,100 achievements on that game.
There's a
I'm
lot.
like, the hell? I'm like, I'm never gonna get all of these.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a grind. But we also have, our next little
So
big
you
talking
lost.
about E3 during we got CD Project Red. I had to pull my notes back up and switch videos. CDPR, they're another one that's going to have a huge E3 this year. They're the developers behind The Witcher 3 and the upcoming Cyberpunk. They announced its
There,
plans for E3.
there was also where you was it? No, was it you? They were they talking about the next Witcher as well? Because I remember people were talking about it, but I don't know, what's
Yeah,
rumor
so
and what's.
that's a big rumor. It's definitely not going to be like Witcher 4 or Following with Geralt or anything. It's going to be a new game in the Witcher verse, but it's not going to be anything related to the other games. It's going to be a whole new character, a whole new story it's going to just be inside the Witcher verse and follow.
So it's gonna have some sort of renaming to it, and then kind of guess maybe like the Souls series, where they're,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. All the events will still be in
It,
story wise, but it'll be a whole new gameplay, or maybe not. Maybe the same gameplay, but a different storyline character.
yeah, that could work out. But you said, what were you saying? They had their big this year. They have their big.
Yeah. So this year they're talking about So
They were Cyberpunk. We just said, right?
yeah. Well, according to the CEO Adam, I'm not even gonna say his last name. 2019, he said, will be the most important E3 year in their studio's history. So he's really pushing this year pretty big. It's likely.
I mean,
We
I say
already
if
know.
Cyberpunk comes out this year, then that's a lot of people are saying that's game of the year. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, I just by the trailers and everything, I'm hyped for Cyberpunk, and they said they're getting a release date, and they are saying they're pretty sure it's this year. So we were pretty sure that's going to be the biggest one. They're getting this year's release date sometime. And aside from that game, though, we're also expecting, like what you were saying, there's the Witcher game.
They have other stuff.
Thought I had a note for another one. Oh, yeah, they are actually. Well, EA, everyone's probably heard, they fired 350 developers.
Oh, yeah.
CDPR,
yeah. That was big news.
they actually hired 300 new developers now. So you know they have something big in the works if they're hiring 300 people on.
I wonder where they got those 300 people from.
Right? There's a space.
It's coincidental, really.
There's a spot you can get fully trained and employees already.
LOL. That is great. That is the best thing I've heard all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, this E3 could be potentially, even though a lot of people are dropping out, there still could be some big announcements, and it could be a big year to follow, and especially if Stadia also announces anything or more plans as to what they're doing, then we might see the next evolution in gaming, if you will. Like, this could be a pivotal point. And then of course you have Nintendo also, according to the Wall Street Journal, is coming out with 2 new versions of the Switch. So I mean, maybe they're coming up with one that's like allegedly aimed at gamers, so it might be higher specs and which is something they are probably going to need, especially if they want to keep this current trend of picking up games that are being released alongside other consoles. So that will be something that they'll have to get on board with as the PS5 and Scarlet come out.
Yeah.
So they'll definitely have to get on board with that. What else did we have before we close up here? I know we had just 2 other things to kind of rush through here. I'm just trying to go through the notes here and see. Did you have anything in particular that you wanted to add before I just...
No, I think that's on your notes now.
Okay, so the only thing that I really have left was, that's what it is. So if you are an Amazon Prime user and you don't take advantage of Twitch Prime, which you really should take advantage of Twitch Prime, if nothing else, to subscribe monthly to the Video Game Jester, streaming channel. I think that's a good idea. Just for that reason alone, no, I mean, besides that, you get, every month Twitch gives you free games and in-game deals and things like that with certain games, like in-game loot boxes and all sorts of fun stuff. And now one of the things they're doing is they're pushing, if you have Twitch Prime, you can get a free year of Nintendo Switch Online. So you save yourself $20. So that's a great little deal there. And the only other one I had was Sega Genesis Classic is coming out. A little late to the party and a little confusing to some people because a company called At Games already released something similar, which had 81 games and was a Sega Genesis Classic type system, but was terrible and it didn't work very well and had RCA jacks and had all sorts of things, problems with games not loading. But this is an official one from Sega now. So the question with 41 games instead of 81. But then the question I have, though, is does that confuse people who are already thinking there was one that was already out and they're not going to buy it because the other one kind of sucked?
Maybe.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's too late for but yeah, that was their big thing they announced at one of the when they had some sort of showing the other day. They were like, hey, we have a Sega Genesis Classic coming out. The only one we're waiting for now, I guess, is the N64 Classic, and then we're complete.
Yeah. All the classics.
All the classics that are not too new, because we don't need a GameCube Classic or a PS2 Classic yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. I got just that. I wanted to just make note of that because it will be releasing September of this year, right in time for the holiday season. Hopefully, it doesn't suck.
Well, all right then. I'm gonna take us into our outro unless you have anything else.
No, and I won't interrupt the outro music today.
There we go. All right. Well, that'll wrap up this time. We'll see you all next week. If you're next week, I'm going to be out of town, so we're probably going to skip a week. We might do a live. It's possible we might do a live broadcasting. It won't be
Possible.
a podcast, but we'll do a broadcast.
Everything is pending right now. We're just trying to figure out the final details. And if you don't see us next week, we will be back the following week, and then that will take care of that for this week's episode. And as usual, you guys know what to do. Follow us on our Twitch channels, Video Game Jester and TG Lord Shamrock. Follow us on Facebook at Gamer Jesters. Use the hashtag Gamer Jesters as well on Twitter. And that is all I got to say.
All right. Closing.
Do we have the music?